course, the one and only Coach Reggie. Coach Reggie, we're just gonna. First of all, how you doing? I know you had to get on the road to come here from Ford City today, and I really appreciate it that you took the time out, stop in, and talk about your career. So we're just gonna jump right into it. First of all, I want to thank your wife for being here, and your niece stay in the sideline. She don't want to be on camera, but she is in the house, looking beautiful as ever. Murray State. First, you started out at Central, right?
Yeah.
First, say hello to the people. We ain't gonna jump right in.
What's going on, my good people? How y'all doing out there?
I guess that's.
I know they can't answer me, but
they can answer you. We right over here.
How y'all doing? This is a beautiful setup too. For those of y'all that's never been here, this is a beautiful setup, a beautiful podcast setup. I love it. I'm really envying it right now. So I'm still some of the ideas. Give me a table that move up and down. Cheap out about it.
Well, thank you. We're gonna get right into a Murray State, where you played college, but first you was at Central. What made you wanna start playing football?
My family. I come from a family of athletes, father, uncles, cousins, and so I was bred into it from at birth. And my uncle Michael, he and Carlos used to, take me out front and use me as their dummy to catch the ball. They would throw the ball to me as hard as they could when I was 5, 6, 7, 8 years old. So I learned how to catch at a very young age, and they both played football at Central, and so they was using me as a way to get themselves better, and they was wearing me out. But in the end, it really paid off because I became a wide receiver.
Okay. So after you left Central, you went on and played at Murray State from 94 to 97, where you received your All-American. Am I correct?
Yes.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes. Right.
In 96. And in that season, you caught 75 passes, which was second all-time for MSU.
Yeah, that was, and we weren't really a throwing team. We had a really, really good running back, named Anthony Downs. That was a really good running back, but we threw the ball. Surprisingly, back then, there wasn't a lot of passing going on. So for me to get 75 catches in that season back in that era was really amazing. That's really equivalent to having 100 and some catches now. And in today's era of football, where they throw the ball 75% of the time.
So how did it feel to be the first to do 1,120 receiving yards for?
I remember
that was a history for it.
I remember leading up to that day, the game before that against Tennessee State University. I left that game only needing like 20 yards to get that 1,000 yard for the season. And I remember Coach Nutt taking me out of the game, and my whole family was there. I was like, Coach, leave me in for 1 or 2 more catches. He took me out so that they could build it up for the following week, in which they had a whole media thing going on. And as a young athlete, I didn't really understand what they was doing. I was going to get it that day. And so that week leading up to it, my whole family came back up there, and it was a media circus. And when I caught that pass that went over 1,000 yards, they went crazy. So when I look back on it, I was glad they did that. And I was able to go up in the stands and give my mom the ball that I had caught.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so they allowed me to go up in the stands and do that. And that was really an awesome moment for my mom and for myself.
Now, your performance and all your achievements at MSU landed to a spot in the Kentucky Pro Football Hall of Fame. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Now, what was that feeling like?
It was weird. I remember getting the phone call. This happened in 2022, June of 22. This happened. I remember getting the phone call October of 2021 about me being inducted in June the following year. And I remember thinking, dang, is this really real? Because, I had never heard of the Kentucky Pro Football Hall of Fame. So when they called me on the phone, as they were talking to me, I got my phone. I was researching Kentucky Pro Football Hall of Fame. And I seen some of the names that was in it. I was like, wow. You got Champ Bailey, you got Romeo Cornell, you got Dick Vermeil, some legends. And so I then started asking questions. Well, what's the qualification? And so you have to have either been born in Kentucky or played football in the state of Kentucky and played at least 5 years of NFL football. And so I played in Kentucky and did play 5 years. And so When they told me I was going to be the second Murray State player to go in the Hall of Fame, that was special. And so I remember as it was getting closer, we was getting all these emails about what's going to happen when you get here. And we had a long 9-hour drive to Lexington. And when we got there, it was just red carpet. It was just really special. And so I always said I've never played sports for the accolades. I played it for the love of the game. But what came along with that, with me doing that, was the accolades. And so I went into that Hall of Fame in June of 22. And then I went into my college Hall of Fame in November of 22. So two Hall of Fames within a couple of months of each other, which made my third Hall of Fame because back in 2012 I went into the ethnocentric Black Hall of Fame. So that was, special. So when you're recognized for what you've done, it's a really good deal, and it lets you know that you place your mark in something.
Now, you place your mark on many fields, not just in Murray State, but you were signed as a free agent for the Cowboys. Now, this is my excitement because I'm a huge Cowboy fan, been there since '86, and you had an amazing NFL career where you had 41 passes, 493 yards with 2 touchdowns. But you did your longest return in 2002 with the Cowboys of 100 yards, a kickoff return against the Eagles at Veterans Stadium. Now, how was that? How did it feel to play in the NFL period, not long just for the Cowboys?
I remember it like it was yesterday, and this answer may get a bit lengthy, but I was dating my girlfriend, who's now my wife, but she is my ex-girlfriend because she's my wife, so she's my ex-girlfriend, right? But I was dating her at the time, and went through training camp, and I remember having an awesome training camp, and I remember Emmitt Smith noticing me in training camp and really speaking up for me at that time. When it came down time to make the team, we had our last preseason game against the Jacksonville Jaguars, in which I was told I was on the team, but I had been cut so many times I really didn't know. But since they told me I was on the team, I made provisions to come back home and get an Escalade.
Oh.
So I came back home, and my manager set me up to go to Landers and get me an Escalade. And so they let me post date a check because I haven't even gotten paid yet.
Oh.
So I'm living already above my means. I ain't even got a paycheck yet. So I post dated them a check for $5,000. I got an Escalade. My girlfriend, my ex-girlfriend, rode back with me in the Escalade. And I remember that's when OnStar was out. Had OnStar. So I'm talking to somebody live while I'm driving the Escalade. I think I'm styling and profiling. I come from nothing. So I got an Escalade, and we get back to Dallas, and we stayed in the Motel 6 the first night because I ain't got a paycheck yet. The next day I go in, and it's cut day. That's where they cut players. So I'm like, Lord, don't let me get cut. I got this truck I just got. Yeah. And being cut so many times, I understood what happened. So when I walked in, they didn't say anything to me. So I went to my locker and saw all my stuff still hanging up, and I knew I had finally made it. And so after I made it, I called my grandmother. She was the first call that I made. And she was at work at Children's Hospital, and she started crying like she couldn't stop, just screaming and crying. And I was crying as well because, this is my favorite team as a kid.
And a huge achievement.
Yeah, like playing for the Cowboys was my dream. And so, Emmitt Smith saw me crying and heard my grandma, just screaming on speakerphone. And he walked over and got the phone and started talking to my grandmother. So when she realized who was talking to her, she went crazy again. Now, everybody in the office at Children's Hospital is listening to her scream, listening to Emmitt talk on the phone. And he's consoling me, saying, I got it. He's good. He's doing a great job down here. So that was really big to, start my career off. And then I had a great first game against Tampa Bay the following Sunday. So, I'm truly honored to have had the opportunity to do that with my favorite team. And they put me on the 2000 All Cowboys Decade team.
Really?
And I wasn't there for 2.5 years. I was voted on the 2000 All Decade team for 2000 through 2010. And so that was special. And it's been a lot of things that's happened over the years that I've been just sitting back saying, "Thank you, God," because I come from Little Rock. You know, coming from where I came from, and the road I took to get there, and I wasn't supposed to be getting some of the things I get now.
And that's a blessing within itself. Now we can go on and on and talk about them boys because, like you said, that's your favorite team, and that's definitely my favorite team. But what are your thoughts on the Cowboys this season? Did I hear?
Well, I think the Cowboys had a really good first game against Cleveland.
They did.
I don't know whether that was a good Cowboy game or a bad Cleveland team. So I'm gonna take it up on. I'm gonna say it was a good Cowboy team. It's no secret through Facebook that I'm very hard on Dak Prescott.
You are, and that was my next question. Do you think he worked his money?
I'm very well, no, but he got paid. So if they can give me $240 million and I ain't worth it, I'm gonna take it. But do I think he's the guy to get us there? No. But then again, who is right now? If you ain't got Patrick Mahomes, you ain't winning right now. I'm just hoping Dak can get us to the NFC Championship game, not get to the playoffs and bust as he's known for so far and what we're known as a team.
Now we got week 2 coming up, and we're going up against New Orleans.
The Aints.
Yes, the Aints. And now they just had a good game over the Panthers.
And they didn't play nobody, right? They played.
But they still had a good game. They won.
They did.
And if they offense played like they played, on their first on their opening season, they could be a contender in the NFC South. So, but Dallas had a good opening as well.
Mm-hmm.
But they said we didn't play nobody either. We played the Browns. But they hold us, the American team, at a higher standard than anybody else.
As they should.
And
because we them boys.
Because we are them boys, and we do have a. When you talk about who we got in the room, because what's that team?
What's the name of his team?
It's it's so odd. It's just a weird team. The Patriots. That's it.
You mean the Tom Brady list?
To say the least.
But they won Sunday too. Now who they play?
I don't even remember who y'all play. Nobody.
Was it Catholic High?
So what do you think? Do you think we got a chance on getting New Orleans? And if so, what do you think they need to do to accomplish that?
Well, it's a home game, so yes, I do. But I'm not going to put my judgment up against the Cowboys until we get to week 6 or 7, so I can see. Because I'm tired of every year we get excited about going 2-0 or 3-1, and then we go backwards. And being that I know how it goes because I've been there.
Mm-hmm.
I know how it goes. I know the politics side of it. That's what scares me the most. And for me watching the game, I know what goes on behind closed doors. Even though I'm not there, okay. I understand how it works. And so you never know what's going to happen because sometimes the best players ain't playing because they ain't making enough money. So these are things that people don't know, that sometimes guys are playing because they're making a lot of money. Sometimes guys should be playing, but they don't make enough money. So they got to wait till somebody get hurt. So I don't know. I just don't know. I can't say because I don't know what's going on inside. This is why I never bet on games because I know how it really is in that locker room and in that front office. And I'm not going to bet on something, but I know there'd be some stuff going on behind closed doors.
So do you think Dallas would ever, this is my last Dallas question, do you think they would ever get to what they used to be? Because I've been watching Dallas since the 80s. And when Eminem was playing and, when the team was, really getting down.
I don't know because being that we are America's team, every Sunday we get everybody's best effort. So a lot of teams, we're their Super Bowl.
Okay.
And so I don't know if we can ever get back to those days. I mean, those days were glory days.
They really
92,
was.
93, 95 were glory days. And so we have a decent defense. I don't know if we have enough firepower to get us there. And we got to stay healthy.
True. Definitely got to stay healthy. So moving into the present. So now you're playing football is now over, and you venture off into Little League. What made you want to start coaching Little League?
Well, I was coaching. I was trying to be a parent for a youth football team that my youngest son Reggie was playing on in 2010. I was trying to be a parent, and they came over and said, "No, you're going to help coach. All the knowledge you got, you're going to help coach." I was like, "No, I just want to see what it's like to be a parent." So they made me get off the sideline and become a coach, and I was trying to help them get uniforms so they look nice.
Mm-hmm.
At that time, a lot of teams were wearing practice jerseys with numbers on them and calling that the game jersey. And I was like, if you would just get a 501c3, I could help you get money for some real jerseys. They didn't do that. So the following year, I just told myself, I said, if you want something done your way, you got to go do it your way. So I put plans in to start my own program. And my wife was the first person I told about it in July 2012. I was on my bed sitting down, and I said, what name can I come up with? Was going to be Lions or Cowboys. At that time, I was still mad at the Cowboys for trading me.
I saw on Facebook a
Mhm.
lot.
I was still mad at the Cowboys for trading me. So I didn't really root for the Cowboys for a long time. I was a Lions first fan.
Mm-hmm.
Then after we established our program and went to Cowboy Stadium for the All-Star game versus Texas AAU team, and I went back into the locker room where I had my locker at, and I took my two sons with me. I took two of my boys with me. At that time, I said, "Why am I bitter? This was the first team that said, yeah, you're good enough. It's the first team that gave me a real paycheck." And at that moment, I said, you know what? I can't be mad at the Cowboys. They gave me a chance to live out a dream. And so I went from hating them, literally hating them, to back to loving them again. And that's how it went. And so the youth football, as I started my program, I had a name, Arkansas Lions. Now I got to find teams to join my league.
Mm-hmm.
I went out recruiting. I got the PH Bucks, the War Eagles. I got a few teams. We had 6 teams our first, I think 7 teams our first year. And the more I started coaching these kids, the more I fell in love with the idea of helping these kids develop into young men.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember at the Emmitt Smith Roast and Toast in 2002, I watched it because I remember him leaving, going to California in the off season for the Roast and Toast over the weekend. But the tape didn't really come out until later, VCR tapes, back then. And so I remember watching it, and I remember Dick Gregory was one of the guys that roasted in it. And he got up on stand, and before he got down, he said something that resonated with me, and it's always stuck with me. And he said, when you die, and I'm paraphrasing, but he said, when you die, God's not going to care about what kind of house you had, what kind of car you drove, how much money you had. He wants to know, what did you do for my children while you were here on this earth?
Mm-hmm.
And that stuck with me. And I fell in love with mentoring and coaching the youth. And that's my love and passion now. So that's how I got started. And I truly, truly, truly love what I do. Now I'm in high school, but I still have my youth program.
And with that Lily program, you have I have seen you go through many obstacles because you would get on Facebook Live and you would voice what was going on as far as parents and haters. And
Mm-hmm.
so, what was your biggest challenge in dealing with Little League football?
The biggest challenge was uh, getting parents to buy into what you believe in. A lot of parents, they they don't understand what it takes to run a program,
Mm-hmm.
and they want to come and go as they please. They want to come to practice, use the excuse, "Oh, I was tired from work." Well, we tired too, but you signed your kid up for something, and you got to be dedicated to your kids' activities like you dedicated to going to the club.
Mm-hmm.
And so, getting the parents to buy in, and then getting people to understand that football is the greatest teacher in life. Football is really the only sport that teaches you that when you get knocked down, you got to get back up. And there's a lot of sports like that, boxing, MMA, but I play football, so I use football. And that's really what life is. And life, we all gonna get knocked down. And what do you
Definitely.
do? Do you stay down there and wait for the flag to come out? Do you stay down and act hurt, or do you get up, dust yourself off, and go to the next play, go to the next day? So that's what it is for me. Football is really a great life lesson because football is hard. If football was easy, every boy in that school would be playing.
Now, when you hear parents, well, I've seen people under your post and just speaking in general, because sometimes I go to little league games, and I'm in a circle of people who talk about football because I watch football, and they would say that your league, you get parents that can afford, the things that you offer, whereas a kid that parent can afford your program get left to the side. Now, how would you address that?
Yeah, that's a great question. I love that question. I'm gonna answer that. I'm gonna answer that as true as I can. Parents say they can't afford
Mhm.
it, and that's like you'll see a parent that says she or he can afford 200 or 250, but that same parent will come out there with brand new shoes on or their hair done or nails done all at the same time. That costs more than 250. It's
Definitely.
all about what are you willing to invest in your child. And so when it comes down to that, I don't take the excuses because you can't tell me your child ain't worth 250 to get good coaching and to get nice uniforms and to go out of town and to give your child the finer things.
Mhm.
Can no parent tell me if they can't find 200 if they really wanted their child to be successful? I look back to when we had our younger kids. Our kids were all around the same age, and they all did activities. Our daughter was a cheerleader. Our three boys played sports, and we made it happen. And our daughter cheerleading was very expensive, and travel cheerleading stuff. But when you look back on it now, she got memories that she can talk
Mhm.
about. Our boys got youth basketball, football, and baseball memories that we created by paying whatever fee it was. And baseball was expensive, 700. In fact, me and Roberson, our sons played together on a travel team, and it's expensive when you go out of town all the time. So
Yes,
I'm
it
not buying the
is.
excuse that I can't afford it when you can afford everything that you want. My thing is, you lived your life. Let your child live his. My mom never, and dad, stepdad, and uncles never deprived me of playing sports, and you see where it led. So when you believe in your kid, then you're helping him or her gain confidence in themselves.
Now, do your program offer scholarship? Because I hear what you're saying, but there are some parents that just not in that bracket, that don't buy the $200 shoes. They can't afford the finer things that some parents can,
Mhm.
and their kid wants to join your program. Do you have scholarships that you can
So
offer?
that's a good question too. I really observe who can and who can't.
Mhm.
I really observe, and I look back, and you can't tell me you. Okay, I'll give you an example. There was a parent a couple years ago who I know she struggled, and she came to practice one day to pick up her son, and her tire went flat at practice. Went flat at practice. So I was one of the only males there that could change her tire. So I changed her tire. When I went to pull off the tire, once I loosened the nuts on it, I cut my hand because inside of the tire, the wires were showing, right? So I had her follow me to the gas station on the spare tire I put on there because it was low. And I was going to put air in there, and I told her it cost 50 cents. She literally did not have that, right? So the following year, her son didn't pay. I didn't make her pay, right? A lot of parents will use the excuse to try to get over. So I try to weed out the ones the ones that I know and I can see struggling. And there's been a few of them that we have done that for. We not charged them, but I got to see it because I know some of these parents will do all they can to get by. And then when you don't let them parents pay, they ain't coming to practice. Why? Because they ain't got nothing invested. When you pay for something, you're gonna make sure your child is there, and you're not quick to pull your child from that team because you got money invested. But if you come for free and you get mad because he done messed up at school or you don't feel like coming. Well, hell, you ain't paid no money, so why come?
Right, right. So, what advice would you give those coaches that out there? I don't want to scream out any names, but I know a few teams that struggle with their kids. The parents don't show up to the game. The parents don't show up to practice. They don't want to bring their kids and got two, three cars sitting in the yard, and the coaches have to go pick up the kids, feed them as well. Some of them on some occasion. What would be your advice to those coaches? Because I see those coaches as somewhat as their some of the kids look up to them as heroes because they really want to play, and if it wasn't for the coach picking them up, they wouldn't play.
Right.
So how do they navigate those waters? Because they end up paying for the uniforms that they go on trips.
Well, here's the thing.
You know.
Coaches set the expectation for their programs early. And when you establish something, that's how it's going to be. So from our first year that we had our program in 2013 when we actually started playing, I established ground rules. And I got parents that came from other teams where coaches were saying, oh, they ain't going to pay, but they paid $200 because they saw the value in what was being provided.
Oh, wow.
And when you see value in something, then you're going to pay for it. But when your coach always act like he ain't got nothing, well, you ain't finna. Why am I gonna pay you $150 if these kids got on matching? These jerseys ain't matching on last year's pictures.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? So it's all about. And then I always have parent meetings every single April. I have parent meetings every April. Once we start spring ball, and I let them know right now. This is what we're gonna do. We're going X, Y, and Z. We're going to play this team, that team, that team. The schedule already laid out. If you can afford this might not be the program for you, right? And so it's not that I'm saying, well, this is not for the so-called, I don't want to say poor kids, but kids that's less fortunate, right?
Right.
But if you're a parent that I know your child, well, I know that you are struggling in life, and you want your child here, we make provisions for those type of kids. But you can't come to me and say you don't have it at the end. I know, or somebody told me, man, or your hair freshly done, or your toes pretty good, because you got sandals on. You can't run that game on me. So for the coaches who allow that, that's why come they get what they get. But when you let the parents know, no, you're going to pay something. They got to pay something.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe in all the kids play free, and then I go broke trying to make sure that your kid is happy. You got to help me help your child. That's right. Your child.
And that's in anything.
Yeah, you got your child all week long. I only got them 6 hours. 2 hours on Tuesdays, 2 hours on Thursdays, and maybe 2 hours on Saturdays. The rest of the week you got them. So how can I be more concerned with your kid's future than you are?
Makes sense to me. Now, given where the Arkansas Lions, your program, and CR Sports, your brand, looking back on where you were and where you are today with both of those, is there anything that you would change?
No, because all of that set me up for where I am now.
Exactly.
God is really good because when I sought out to coach youth football in 2013, I wasn't trying to go be a high school coach. And I remember Dagan Boone, right? DJ Boone told me in 2014 when I showed him some plays I had ran with the kids. He was laughing. He said, man, you're running high school plays with these kids can't keep up with you, the other team. He said, man, these are high school. This is like pro plays you're running. But I've never even thought about doing high school. Like my mind frame was being like Ed Johnson with Sunset Tigers, coaching kids until I'm 60 years old, 70, just coaching. As I started to develop my program and my brain and to travel around and play different teams and, beat some really good teams. And then my son, Lil Reggie, he said this about 4 years ago. He was like, Dad, it's time for you to move up. He said, Coach Prime did it. It's time for you to do it. And I was like, yeah, son, but everything is in timing
Mm-hmm.
because I wasn't ready at that time mentally. And but he said it. And then my wife said it too. But then a couple years ago, a central job came open. I got a phone call about that, but it wasn't for me to apply for the job. It was somebody calling me to help them get the job. And then something said to me, hold on. That instant, something said, you apply for the job. I hadn't thought about Central's job when the coach had left. It didn't cross my mind. Not until that phone call came that night that the Lord said, it's your turn.
And see that's what I like about you. You see something, you set goals, and because you do a lot on Facebook, you post a lot about what's going on with you. So if anybody, your friend on Facebook, they can follow your journey, and that's for all of us. But when I saw that you posted that you was going out for Central High School coach, I was like, dang, that's awesome. I'm rooting him on. I hope he gets it. And then you came back and said they said that you needed a degree. And the next thing I saw, you went and got that degree. And that was freaking awesome because kids look up to you and they hold you in such high regard. So when you did that, I'm like, do he know the impact that he made on one of his players or kids just in general that knows you?
I didn't
That
think
was
about it.
just awesome.
I didn't think about it.
But that was just, for me, that was awesome. And now you're a coach in Forest City High School.
Let
How
me
is
say
that?
this though. Kind of going back a little bit about the Central job. I don't want to make no mistake about it. Central has a good coach, Anthony Robinson,
Hmm.
and he's doing a really great job at Central. And I love Coach A. Rob because he has passion for the job and for the kids. Central my high school, but at that time he was the right man for the job. And then Southwest job came over,
Hmm.
and I was approached by somebody at that school about the job, and was being told that it was my job. And then when I didn't even get an interview, I was devastated because I'm like, how was I being told it's my job? And I don't even get an interview. So that crushed me. So when the call came March 28th uh, about Fort City job, actually, Carl Kidd called me the night before and said he had recommended my name to Fort City. And he said, well, do you want their number? And I said, no, have them call me. Because at that point, I was frustrated from Central and Southwest. I ain't doing this no more. So I said, if they want me, they'll call me. So March 28th at 10:08 a.m., I got a phone call from Forest City. I'm sitting in front of my TV. I'm half blind. So like my TV is like 3 feet in front of me, and I'm sitting right in front of that big screen TV. And I'm looking bug out watching TV, and my phone rings at 10:08. And I seen Forest City, Arkansas. So I said, oh, somebody calling me for real. So when I answered the phone, he's asking me questions. And after about 7 minutes, I'm like, who am I talking to? Because I had no clue. He was like, oh, it's the principal. I was like, oh, okay. What's your name? And he told me his name. And we conversed and we talked and we laughed. And I felt good about it. He said, the job is going to open up on Monday. This was on a Wednesday. He called me. Next Monday, go in there and apply for it. When he didn't call me and tell me it's open, I was like, man, oh well. So then Tuesday, I went on there and it was open. So I hadn't talked to him at all again. But I applied for it and I texted him, hey, I applied for it. Then a week went by, nothing. Then they called me for the interview. And I'm ready to go to the interview face to face. They were like, it's going to be by Zoom. I'm like, oh, man, no, I want y'all to feel my
Energy.
passion, my
Yeah.
energy, but I can't control what they do. So the following Tuesday was the interview. And when I tell you, this will be my first ever high school interview, when I tell you that I knocked that sucker out, I'm talking about they was blown away with my answers as if I had done this before. And I was told that I'd get a phone call the very next day, and I didn't. And I knew who I was up against.
Mhm.
A guy that had been coaching for a long time, and I respect him. And I figured they was going to go with him because he's been coaching high school for a long time, and he's a really good coach. And so a week goes by, and I get a phone call that following Friday, and it was like, Coach Swinton, please. I was like, yeah, speaking. They're like, well, are you ready to be Forsyth's next head coach?
What was that feeling?
I wanted to, I wanted to scream and shout and everything, but I had to act like I've been there before. But I couldn't believe it. Like I'm going from just this time last year, I was coaching 10-year-olds. Now I go from 10-year-olds. Well, so in between that, Mills had just brought me in to be a coach at Mills High School. Like I was there for like 7 weeks, right? But I wasn't officially on papers at Mills. It was I was kind of working my way up, right? And I wanted to be a head coach, not an assistant coach. And I appreciate Cortez Lee for giving me a chance to come over there for them 7 weeks. The sad part about it for me was I was at Mills another 4 days going through off-season workouts, knowing that I was probably going to leave and go to Forest City. So I was at Mills, but I was like, man, but I can't say anything to them yet because I don't know yet. I haven't got that phone call yet. But I got the phone call, and I'm thinking, I just was coaching 10-year-old kids a year ago, and now I'm a high school head coach. And but now he go to part that's crazy. So this was on that Wednesday, that Tuesday, Wednesday, and the superintendent said, "Well, we got to call an emergency board meeting to vote you in. That won't be until the following Thursday. So now I got to hold this in for 8 days. Like, oh, how am I going to hold this in for 8 days?" And so my wife over here, she's like, "Don't say nothing because you don't want haters to call and block you and block your blessing." And I'm like, 8 days is a long time to hold this kind of news in. So I was like, forget it. So the following Thursday, I said, we're going to this board meeting. I want to go down there and hear them say, this is our coach. So I went to the board meeting, and when they voted me in, I said, it's real. I'm a high school head coach. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you for letting what my friend Dagan said and my son and my wife said come to fruition. Like, it's real. He's real.
And how is that experience thus far? I see you posting practices. I see you posting the team, and it seemed like the kids have taken to you like, your little league team did, and it looks amazing.
It's crazy because people are saying that, oh, he's doing what Coach Prime did. I did this before Prime was doing it. I'm just not Prime, so it wasn't out there in the spotlight. But when Prime had his new football team, he wasn't doing the social media thing like he is, or he did at Jackson and now Colorado. He wasn't. I was. But I just wasn't Coach Prime. I'm just not on his level as notoriety. But he doing what I've been doing. You see what I'm saying? But the kids have bought in, the community has bought in, and I believe this in my heart that God truly did this because I was telling my wife a couple of days ago, I was kind of wilding her with why this happened. And if I may tell you this story real fast.
Oh, take your time.
Is my football league that I've been having since 2013 was starting to fade away. Teams were leaving my league because they was mad at me for whatever reason, didn't like the way I ran things, and they was leaving. And so it was 4 teams left. And then when one team left and went back to the league they came from, they left with 3 teams. And I was started calling teams, trying to get them to come. What I didn't realize was God was removing the league from me so that he can put me in a position to be ready for that phone call. But there was a few things happening in between that. So as I'm trying to call these teams, hey, man, come on up. No, I'll be happy over here. So after a couple of weeks of me accepting the fact that I wasn't going to have a league, I said, okay, I told my guys in my committee, hey, you know what, let's just go ahead and fold it. I'm going to find a league for my team to go play in. And I ain't got to really run nothing. I can just now go coach and go home. I ain't got to make the schedule, collect money. I could just go be a coach like everybody else has, take all that stress off me.
Mhm.
I didn't know he had so much plan. So I accepted the fact. So then a couple of weeks later, I made a phone call to a league called Natural State Youth Football League based in Pine Bluff. This is a rival league. Hey, you know what? I want my team to come be a part of your league. They voted on it. I let my parents know. Now we're moving forward for that league. But what he was doing was okay. He took that league from me. He allowed me to put my team in a comfortable spot. You see what I'm saying? To
Mhm.
where now the team, the league, you're now comfortable. You've gotten everything established. Now I put your team here so you can be happy. Now it's time for you to put somebody in charge of your team. Let me go place you where you should be at. You
And
see,
Forest City was
in
your
Forest
norm.
City, right? And so I remember calling Coach Nuts when Forest City called. I said, Coach, I said, how do I live in Little Rock and how do I coach in Forest City? He said, you told me that you want to be a head coach, right? I said, yeah. He said, well, if you want to be a head coach, stop complaining and go ahead and coach. And I said, okay. And we tried to find a house down there. We couldn't find a house. So we still commute daily. We're going to try to get a house in January. But he said, if you want to be a head coach, go head coach. Don't complain about where you're head coaching. They didn't want you in Little Rock.
Mm.
They looked over you in your home city. So go where you're supposed to be. I said, bet. So I got down there. When I tell you, I love the fact that he put me with them kids. 'Cause a lot of them kids in Forest City, they don't have a male figure.
Yeah, that's my
Positive.
stumping ground. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I've checked like all the cursing, the N word this, N word that. The kids have to dress up every Wednesday at school. Uh, the teachers in the school are just raving, telling me and my wife how like her dance team, they're doing well in classroom. My football team, this is the first year from the time school started to now that no football player has been placed in school suspension.
That is awesome. That is awesome.
Yeah, so uh, they're buying into what we're selling, but the they kids ain't dumb. Kids know when you faking, and those kids
Yeah,
know
they
that me and my
definitely.
staff generally care about their well-being, and we bring in speakers. I talk to them all the time. This is more than just football. Football is a small microcosm of your life. And I tell all the kids all the time, y'all might not go pro in football, but y'all can go pro at life. But if you want to go pro at life, you got to make professional decisions.
Definitely. Definitely.
Mm-hmm. So I love it. I appreciate it.
But I am, super excited about your journey because I see the work that you're doing and a lot of others do. So, um, for whatever reason, people start leaving or got mad at you, it was for the greater good. And of course, look at where you are now. And so I'm just going to ask some random questions, and we're going to go ahead and wrap it up.
All right.
What was your favorite football moment?
In life or just in the pros?
You choose.
My favorite football moment uh, for me was my first touchdown, Thanksgiving Day, 2001 against Denver. Uh, I didn't understand the magnitude of that touchdown until years down the line. That game is on Thanksgiving Day. Everybody watching that game. And not until the following year in '02 in training camp that I realized that everybody, because Jamie Foxx came to our practice in San Antonio and he was like, Swin! And I knew Jamie was at practice. I was kind of like, there's Jamie Foxx over there. But I couldn't be no groupie. I'm a celebrity now myself. So, but it was like Swinton after practice ended. So I walked over all cool. We took a picture together. And he was like, you be running that pill. Boy, you be thinking to myself, Jamie Foxx know me. Then I met Snoop. I'm like, Snoop know me. Then Bootsy and Bill Cosby and Patti LaBelle. I'm from Little Rock. This ain't supposed to happen to me. So that was a moment that got me recognized by people.
Mm-hmm.
And they say athletes want to be rappers, and I was a rapper, and rappers want to be athletes. So the entertainers were watching us like we watched them. So that moment was special because it opened up people's eyes to who I was.
Okay. I don't know if you can answer this one or not, but as a coach, what is your favorite play to run? Is that telling too much? Okay, but tell.
As a receiver, a go route.
I'll go around.
Throw that
Okay.
ball deep as you can and go get it.
Okay. Is that something like a Hail Mary?
It could be called a Hail Mary.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. Who was your role model?
Um, my role model was really my mom and my dad. And I would say in life, my mom, because she taught me hard work without even knowing she was teaching me that. And she taught me love and compassion without even knowing she was teaching me that, just by how she was as a person, how she got up every morning, made me walk her to the bus stop so she could catch the bus to work.
Mm-hmm.
I would walk back home, get dressed for school, and then walk to school. She taught me about how to navigate life. And I remember telling her when I was 13 years old. And she'll tell you the same story. I told her at 13 that I was going pro.
That's awesome.
And she can tell you the whole story at the bus stop that morning, as I can tell you now.
Not a football question. What's your favorite song in 2025?
My,
Is it a Sexy Red?
please counsel her. Please counsel her.
I just,
But right now, my favorite song is it's 7 p.m. Friday. It's 95 degrees.
And no, ain't got me.
I'm a Glorilla fan right now.
Okay, Glow.
Yeah, Glow. But all my kids say, yeah, coach.
Okay, what would people be surprised to learn about
That I'm really on the surface. I may come off as cocky and difficult to deal with and hard, all that kind of stuff.
you? You are cocky.
But yeah, but I'm also very compassionate and I cry more than what people think I cry.
Hmm.
I really do, and because I know where I where I was and where I've come from, and then knowing that I really really have a good spouse that I haven't always been the best person to, but
Hmm.
she she stuck it out, and now she's about to be a doctor, Dr. Swinton, in a couple of months.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Kudos.
yeah, and so
Congratulations.
she's put in a lot of work in doctoral school, and I'm getting my master's now, right? But this is it for me because after seeing what she go through with the doctorate degree, just call me Mr. Dr. Swinton because I'm call her Dr. Swinton, call me Master Reggie.
And there it is. Okay, so what is the biggest piece of advice you could give someone that want to play football?
Be dedicated. It's hard. It's a hard sport, and you got to be dedicated to it. You can't just do it because um, somebody asks you to. That's a sport where you got to really be into it and dedicated because the work is put in the off season. Friday nights, Saturdays, and college and Sundays is the fun part. It's the off season hard work. It takes dedication.
And there you have it. Thank you so much, Reggie, for coming to the Den and sharing your story, your journey with us. Keep doing what you're doing in our community with our young men because I can guarantee you they are watching you and they are inspired. As you know, this is your girl April Day, and I just need to let you guys know to go to my page and call me on the block party to the, I'm all choked up right now, but on the block party to the whole block party for the homeless we're doing on October the 19th. We need donations, and there's a flyer on my page with everything that we need: socks, hats, gloves. You can send monetary donations if you don't want to go out and buy it yourself, and you can call me or you can go buy it and come by and pick it up. Just give me a call. Also, we need men winter clothes. We always get women clothes, and we always see more men. at these events than we do women. So if you have any men clothes that you're not using, and men's shoes, blankets, not the bedspread, the big quilts and the big comforters, just the small throw blankets, please donate whatever you can. Give me a call once again. And once again, thank you, Rez. Oh, that phone number is 501-541-9147. Again, that's the block party for the homeless on October the 19th. Once again, thank you, Rezzy, for
And I say so much real fast before you close out.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
This message is to all the men out there. That is, you feel like what you're going through with your child's mom is hindering you from being there for your kid, whether it's a daughter or a son. Don't miss out on the opportunity of raising your child because you're mad at the mother. Take care of your kids. It's hard. I've been through it. But I'm telling you, it gets better. It gets greater later. These kids need us men in their lives. They need us. Us coaches can do all we can, but we're not daddy. We're not daddy. We are just coaches. So be there for your son and daughter. Take care of them. I'm telling you, we are the reason why come they succeed and don't succeed. We are a big part of that.
Those are very wise words. So, men, take a heed to that. If you got a kid out there, don't let the mom stop you. That is definitely fact, because men are definitely needed in these young men' lives, because they are really, our youth is just getting out of hand on so many levels, where you losing them every day. They shooting, killing each other. So yeah, step up if you can. That was great. Thank you for sharing that message. And once again, it's your girl April Day. And thanks, Reggie. And you can come back here every Wednesday night at 7 o'clock. We started a little late tonight because Reggie had to be on the road, but hey, it was worth the wait. So once again, tune in next time, 7 o'clock every Wednesday night, right here in the den. Thanks for watching.